a regular season record doesn't mean much coming into there. You're playing every day. You're playing against the best teams in the region.
I just think we knew, how good we were as a team, and it didn't matter who was having an off day. You have 8 other people in that lineup.
That year was especially more meaningful too, because I'd come off of a couple surgeries. I had elbow surgery the year prior. I'm very fortunate to have the teammates I did, the coaches I did.
These 3 guys right here are the main reason. Best leaders I've ever had.
Goines swings and drives one to deep left field. Back goes Stilly. It is gone!
9-9, bottom 12. Swung on, taken to right, and that's going to get down. And the throw to first, not in time. And that is it. Tom Freeland, his first career base hit, ends up being the CACC Tournament Championship base hit.
Hello and welcome to the latest edition of CACC Championship Retrospective here on the CACC Network. I'm Doug DeBiase, and tonight we're going to take a look at the 2015 Wilmington University baseball team. In a 2-week stretch back in May of 2015, the Wildcats picked up an impressive, thrilling come-from-behind win over Chestnut Hill in the CACC Championship final, and then a week later going up to Rindge, New Hampshire, knocking off #1 nationally ranked Franklin Pierce in the NCAA Regional, winning the regional title, and making it to the College World Series. Guys, thank you very much for joining us. First, Coach, I will ask you, how are you and your family doing during this stressful time here as we're trying to self-quarantine and social distance?
First of all, thanks for having us. We're hanging in there. It's, it is what it is now. The first, honestly, week or two, it was – personally, for me, it was very tough because, during this April time is baseball season for us, and getting that taken away from us was very tough. So I had to change my thoughts, obviously, to my family and make sure my kids and my wife and everybody were good. But then I had to really take care of our guys. I mean, the same type of thing. We had to make sure them guys were good, and it's just more mental than physical. They're used to playing baseball, going to school, and boom, it all taken away. And, you can work out in your house, you can do some homework, but, there's about 21, 22 hours of the day left. It's been tough, but, through time, I think it's got a little bit easier. We just want to know, we're looking for an end. So hopefully our school's set up right now, May 15th, to be the last day, but, who knows? We just hope something comes back to normal sometime soon here.
Jamie, how are you and your family doing?
Good. My fiance and I are here in Wilmington, Delaware, and it's been tough and a little bit different, but it's a huge adjustment, especially, Easter just wrapping up, and you got to do what you got to do. Fortunately, I'm still working, and she's finishing up medical school, so she's just about there. So, but yeah, we're taking it day by day and just doing what we have to do and going with the flow, trying to be as responsible as possible and social distance and do what we got to do. So it is what it is, but make the best of it.
Frank, how are you and your family doing?
We're doing well. We actually have a 10-month-old son through all this, so it's a little bit more stressful. But we're doing what we can do, like Jamie said, social distance and things like that. But so far, so good. So can't complain at this point.
And Sam, how are you doing? It's you even told us right before we began the episode that there's a possibility you may have to run for a call that you're on. Just tell us a little bit about what how you and your family are doing, and just give us a little bit about what you're doing as well since playing.
Since playing, it's just been work. I'm not quite married like these guys or anything, but so really it's just me. I have a roommate also in the fire department that lives with me. I'm actually at work right now, so again, sorry for all the background noise. But yeah, it's just been kind of I still have to come to work every day, so it's a little bit different for me. We still have to come. We can't just work from home, but we keep it busy with this and just work as much as I can. I work with my nephew, and he plays sports, so that's about it though. But other than that, just the same old quarantining.
Well, we thank you for being, one of the, in your line of work, one of the first responders to things. So we appreciate it here at the CACC. But we like to take a look back at some better times, some more exciting times in 2015. Coach, your program has celebrated a lot of big moments, a lot of championships, a lot of big victories. But when you look back to May 2015 and back-to-back weekends, you guys win the CACC title and then you win the regional. Is that the watermark for your program? Looking back on it.
Definitely winning the regional is. I mean, we've won a lot of conference championships before that, and then we won a few obviously after that. But no other team has ever got through the regionals, obviously from our conference or from obviously at Wilmington. But that was definitely the top of the list. Like you said, we've had a lot of success, but that's been no doubt about it. And with our alumni now, it's a huge competition to see if the next team can get to it. But these three guys right here are the main reason. Best leaders I've ever had, and they were the main reason why we got to it. And it's very tough, but this group was special.
Jamie, looking back, you pitched in the first game against Chestnut Hill in the CACC tournament. You pitched in the opener of the regional against Southern New Hampshire.
Right.
Your combined stats in those games, 3 runs allowed, 7 hits, 19 strikeouts, 8 innings of work both times in each of those openers. Just talk about the pressure that you put on yourself, or at least the zone that you had to get into, because you were that person that was really going to set the tone, have that starting outing and
right.
Kind of set the tone for your team going into both tournaments. Just talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's always an honor to kind of get in and set the tone for our performance for the tournaments. And luckily I'd kind of had some experience in the past with my 3 or 4 previous years. I think that year was especially more meaningful too, because I'd come off a couple surgeries. I had elbow surgery the year prior, and then I had shoulder surgery maybe 6 months before then. So there was a lot that was on the line, and I wanted to make the best of the situation. So that was definitely in my mind, where it's like, man, fighting through the pain. I mean, this is like the last chance. So, and obviously, I mean, going out and playing with everyone that I had behind me, and I was very fortunate to have the teammates I did and the coaches I did, because I talk with coworkers now and say that those were some of the best times of my life. And they are the best times of my life. And just taking some of the things that I've learned and everyone else has learned and applying that in the real world. I mean, it's unbelievable how far that goes. So being in those crunch situations where it's on the line and you really got to perform and step up. It was very memorable, and I'll never forget it.
Coach, you've had some really outstanding pitchers, starters, relievers. Where does Jamie rank? I'm sure it helped make you a better coach when you could pencil his name into the lineup every couple games when you had him on the mound.
Well, it's funny you say that. In this right here we have a group text, and we put we're serious, but we're messing around on who's the top 5 best hitters, best pitchers, whatever. And we actually just talked about this last week. But when Jamie walked off the mound against Southern New Hampshire up there after the 8th inning, and remember, he gave up 2 runs in the first and then dominated. I'll never forget it, and it's still part of it's on YouTube now. When Dan Loletta put that article together, or that video together, and I walked up and met him kind of close to the first baseline, and I told him, I said, "Listen, man, your pitch limits, over to what I thought, but I'm going to go with Tyler Freeze here. You did a great job. Appreciate everything you've done." And, I basically told him right there that he's the best pitcher we've ever had in this program. So pretty clear and simple. If you look at all the, records and whatnot, he is the best. And he's the one that got us to the World Series. And, until somebody beats that, he's our best ever.
Thank you.
Frank, looking at that championship final against Chestnut Hill, you guys are down 7-2, in the middle frames of the game. In that game, you had a couple hits, scored a couple runs. You had a double in the 6th inning that helped kind of, I think, started to change the tide a little bit. Looking back at that game, what are the guys saying to each other in the dugout when you're down that many runs and you want to win that game because you really don't want to go to that if necessary game and give Chestnut Hill confidence? What are the guys in the dugout doing to pick each other up?
Yeah, I mean, it's never a scenario you want to be in. I think with our group, we didn't have much worry when that happened, and not in a cocky way by any means. I just think we knew, how good we were as a team, and it didn't matter who was having an off day. You have 8 other people in that lineup that are going to pick you up. I think that we just had that mindset. We knew that it was a matter of time before things started rolling. It's not like us to not put up big numbers in conference play like that. So especially in that kind of in that game, in that pressure situation, I think we were just waiting for the right timing. It wasn't necessarily stressing or anything. I think we had all the confidence in the world, and it finally clicked for us.
Coach, you talked about the leadership that team had, those seniors, and I think it was illustrated in that game. You're down 5 runs, and from there you guys just mounted the comeback, tied it in the 9th, won it in extra innings. Just talk about the character that team showed up and down the lineup that day.
Well, I mean, a guy that we're forgetting in this is Robbie Gore. He came in and I think it was 6-1 when he came in, and I think he pitched about 5 innings or so, and kept it right there. I think it got to maybe 7-2. So he gave up 1 run in 5 innings. So he kept us right there. And like you said, the lineup was tough. Frank said it. It wasn't as it was a lot more stressful than he said. I can tell you that for me. We felt it, but we kept putting zeros on the board against their offense, and we just kept chipping. We kept getting 1 or 2 there, and then. It's funny that I'm going to go all the way back around, but they brought the pitcher of the year in the 9th. And I'll never forget. I was sitting right there. I looked at Jamie's face. He was on the bench over there. And I said, listen, this guy has never pitched in relief, never pitched in relief. And he has good stuff, man. He walked a guy, hit a guy, threw a pass ball, balked, little things. It wasn't like we were crushing him. A few guys, some hits here and there, but that had a lot to do with it. And I can tell you right now, moving ahead to the championship of the regionals, Jamie Treml right here was warming up. Tyler Freese was probably in his third inning against Stack, probably about his 8th or 9th of the regionals, which is every day. And half the reason I didn't put Jamie Treml in, and I just said he's the best pitcher that we've had here, was because in the back of my mind, I was thinking about Chestnut Hill, putting a guy in that situation. And it's a tough situation if you haven't been in it. So the leadership that these guys had, I mean, I talked to them a lot, not just at the field, but, on the phone or texting, and Sam, and I talked to him a lot. I'll never forget some of the things he used to tell me about just the guys on the team, and said, listen, I got him, trust me, I got this. And they were just so mature. And like I said, the first thing we look at is in recruiting is talent level. You hope that they're a pretty good student. It's hard to tell when you're recruiting guys if they work hard and all that kind of stuff. But these 3 guys were at the top of the line, and we've had a lot of really good players here. But and they built it, because we have guys now that do the same thing. But they were my best students, my best players, and my best people. So turned out to be great leaders, and it's the reason why we went so far right here.
And you mentioned Tyler Freese. There was someone that pitched a lot of innings for you in relief in both tournaments. I constantly think back to that game against Stack on Sunday night in the regional final, and he gave you guys 3 innings, and I don't know how he kept his arm on his shoulder, on his body. Just talk about the gutsiness that he had during that run in May.
Well, I mean, he got to close in game 1 against Southern New Hampshire. He got to close against Stonehill in game 2. That same day against Stack, he got to close, I think it was an inning in 2/3 or either 2 1/3, I forget, against Franklin Pierce the same day. Mm-hmm. And he pitched 3 innings against Stack. So Tyler was the main reason we were here. I can tell you that. I mean, these guys know it. I mean, he was really tough. I mean, I think he led the nation in saves that year. And he was a huge, huge, huge piece of this, the reason why we went as far as we can. And he got, regional, or he got whatever MVP of that whole regional. I think player of the year, player of the tournament. So he deserved it. He was the reason why we did it. Back to back days. He had that cool confidence that he didn't get all hyped up. He didn't really show too much emotions. He just went out there and threw fastballs away and got people out.
Sam, you guys went into that regional, I think, as an afterthought. I think a lot of teams went into that regional as an afterthought. The people that were following it, based on that Franklin Pierce was the number one team in the country that year. And I think what happened was, as those days went on in the tournament, people saw, I think especially the pop in the lineup that you guys had, up and down from, 1 to 9. I think some minds started to change. You get to Sunday, how amped was the team going in trying to take down the number one team in the country?
We were very amped. They had already lost at that point. I think they only had one loss all year before that, and then they lost earlier in the regional to, I think it might have been Stack. But they'd already lost at that point, so they're not invincible. Plus, we realized that was our third straight regional. We realized that a regular season record doesn't mean much coming into there. You're playing every day. You're playing against the best teams in the region. Everyone's pitchers are going. Their reliefs going day after day. And honestly, we were getting challenged the whole time. I mean, Coach, we always had it didn't seem fun at the time, but it's really fun looking back in the dugout, Coach would say, man, I guess they're just better than you guys. They're just better hitters. They're just more athletic. I guess they're just better. And it would fire us up. We'd kind of fight back and give it back. And that's it would kind of bring us together almost, bring us together. But it was all very competitive. And so it was like that every year, every game, depending if we were playing the last place team in the conference or, a regional team. We always kind of brought the same energy every game.
Frank, you were part of that lineup, and one of the big bats that the team relied on. And, again, as I asked Sam, I think a lot of people gave maybe too much credit to Franklin Pierce, and I think they were kind of mesmerized by their lineup. But you guys I looked at it, you could play almost any kind of offense. If you guys needed the long ball, you had it. If you needed to play small ball, you could. Just talk about the versatility of that lineup.
Yeah, I think it comes down to, what we focused on, during the whole off season and leading into the season. Our coaches did a great job of making us focus on the small stuff as well as, hitting a double when needed or, getting a hold of one. It's tough to do everything right. I think that's baseball, and it came through when we needed it, and that's, it showed. So.
Sam, you were the player of the year in the conference, best hitter in the league that year. But, again, when you had guys that were, in front of you in the lineup that could get on base, guys behind you that could, hit and drive in runs, just talk about how the pressure it comes off you a little bit because you don't have to be the sole, run producer. Just talk about how that how those guys helped protect you and took care of you and helped you, elevate your game.
Again, every year that I played on the team, there was a competition. The guy that hit behind me would always, bust my chops because he had more RBIs than me. The guy in front of me would bust my chops because he had more runs scored than me, and we'd always joke around, oh, well, I'm hitting you in, and then same thing for the guy behind me. It'd always be a competition, even when we my first year when I wasn't, I didn't put nearly the numbers up that I did my last year. We had Josh Hampton, put up crazy numbers, and I would always, challenge him, say, I'm hitting more RBIs than you still, I'm doing that. I would beat Og and home run derby in practice, and and he didn't like living that down. But it was a competition every time. So there wasn't really the most pressure that was put on was between each other in that competition. There wasn't really much like, oh, I've got to do this. Frank, has to do this. He has to come up with a big hit, because we knew if we didn't, then we're going to hear about it when we come back in the dugout, or when the bus trip back. How now I'm losing RBIs again. Now I'm losing an average again. So,
Coach, when you have a lineup like that and you've got guys that are producing all the way 1 through 9, is it pretty easy then to fill out the lineup card each game, or can maybe sometimes coaches maybe overthink it and try to tweak it? Next thing you know, you've ruined a lineup that's playing outstanding. How do you handle, having that many terrific hitters in one lineup?
Well, starting back with that, I mean, Frank hit it right on the nose. It didn't matter where you batted in the order. If it was a tight game, 3-3, late in the game, 7th, 8th, 9th inning, our third hitters, Sammy batted 4th, they're Zach Button. And it didn't really matter, because we didn't care if he got it down. The next guy was driving in. So we had nobody that wasn't getting that done. Like Frank said, that was our philosophy from day one, but we also hit a lot of, obviously, doubles and bombs and whatnot that year. But going through the lineup-wise, though, that year it wasn't that tough, because we only had so many guys that actually played. I always say it every 13 guys play. And Frank, obviously, he pitched for himself. I mean, hit for himself when he pitched. So we moved the new first baseman in there. That guy to DH then didn't play. And then we had like 3 or 4 guys rotate out in right field. So the lineup was pretty consistent all the way through. But it definitely makes us feel good. But I think these guys right here, especially as leaders, bought into what we were going to do. I mean, Sammy hit a home run in a conference tournament, regional tournament, and the World Series, which is unbelievable. But at the same time, with the game on the line, he's getting a sac bunt down and put it in Matt Pope's hands to see if he can drive him in. So that was our philosophy. We wanted to win the game. Could we put up 10 and hit a lot of doubles and home runs, or could we win that 3-2 ball game, playing a little small ball and just pitching and playing good D? So our goal was to win each individual game. And Sam said it earlier, it comes down to getting your guys ready to play. And coaching is what it is, but, these guys play. And we can say what we want about it. They're the ones that did it day in, day out. And it's tough, man, for 18 to 23-year-olds to focus and every single day and come ready to play. And these guys, the word that Sam uses the most, that's why we were real good, is competitive. And nobody more competitive than them 3 guys there. Sam did beat me one time, I can tell you that.
Jamie, you got the start in the first game down in the World Series in Cary. And just talk about how special that was. It's a watermark game for the program to be down there. You pitched pretty well in that game too. Just talk about, maybe what you took from that specific game and that moment playing in a park like that, which was a beautiful baseball facility, first class.
Yeah, it was a surreal experience. I think I always tell my fiance, we brag sometimes where it's like, yeah, we played at Citizens Bank Park however many times, but I always say that field down in Cary was one of the best fields I ever played on. And I think just the environment you got 8 of the best teams in the country all just coming down to Cary and you're competing. And I think my main focus was I want to leave it all out there. Like I said, I was fighting a shoulder problem, and I think warming up in the bullpen, I was like, man, I hope I'm good for this game. And then sure enough, you throw the first pitch, and it's like, all right, your nerves kind of in a good way settle in. And it was an awesome experience, especially playing against a great team like Catawba. And you have the hype of like a Tampa down there, and they're a powerhouse in Division II. So it's really cool. And I think everyone took away, what I did. And it's like, all right, we left it all out there. And I'll never forget that moment.
Coach, you worked so hard to get to Cary through the years and, take a team down there that was as great as that 15 team was. What was your first what was your first thought when you got down there? Was it everything you had hoped for? What do you carry away from being down in Cary?
Well, I mean, it was big time. It was big time, and like these guys said about the regionals, we've been in the regionals 5 or 6 times before we won it. So the experience and just being in them situations in the regionals helped us get by that regional. And I think that was the first time we were down there, obviously, and I think it was big time, and even for me and the players, they just didn't know. And a lot of running around to do. You did all kinds of different things in the community. You had a lot of different practices. You had this. It was, they really treated you good. The facility was unbelievable. And
Don't lose me for a second. I got it.
It'll be better the second time once you get back there. It just was a little bit overwhelming in that aspect. But I don't think that's the reason why we lost the games. I mean, Jamie pitched well. Frank pitched well. I mean, we didn't play very good defense down there. And obviously we're facing pretty good pitchers, but it wasn't like we couldn't hit them.
Right.
Against Catawba, I mean, we left 9 guys on base. We had all kinds of guys on base and just couldn't come up with that big hit. And then the second day, same type of thing, faced a really good pitcher, but we had a few misplays. And like they said, it was a great experience. It was, I can't wait. I hope we get another opportunity to get back there, but for these guys, it was an unbelievable experience, and I just want to get back there to just because I know what to expect, and I can tell my guys, what it's all about. I do tell them all the time up here, but without going back there, it's what it is. But it was just a great experience overall. There's no doubt about it. I'll never forget it. These guys will never forget it. That was just a special season and a special team, special bunch of guys there.
No, definitely. Jamie gave you the start that you needed in that first game of the World Series. It was a close game, tightly contested. Actually, unfortunately, Sam had to step away for a second, but I would interested to hear from you guys the home run that he hit in that first game. Frank, I'll ask you, being as an accomplished hitter as you were, just talk about how neat of an experience that was.
Yeah, I just got chills thinking about it. Actually, it was a really special moment. I know before the game, Olga will probably touch on it. He said, not one ball will leave the park on this field. It wasn't carrying MVP. It wasn't, it just didn't have that. It wasn't popping off the bat the way it would. And, when Sammy hit it, it was just, there was no doubter. I mean, it was a surreal feeling. So,
Coach, you've watched a lot of baseball. Is that, where does that rank as one of the hardest hit home runs you've ever seen? Because as I said, that embedded in the hillside up there.
I don't know how on furthest we've hit some bombs in our day here, but I can tell you, in a pressure situation of what how big the game was and the atmosphere and the crowd and all that kind of stuff. It was the biggest home run we've ever had. I don't know about the furthest. It was definitely a bomb, but some of these guys have hit some bombs in the past. I can tell you that. But big time home run. Like I said, that guy hit a home run in the conference tournament, the regionals, and the World Series, which is pretty special. And Sammy's a guy that not going to let the environment get to him. He's a tough-nosed guy, very, very tough. So one of a kind. All these guys are one of a kind guys, and I was just fortunate enough to coach them. Glad they picked Wilmington, and their names are embedded in our record books, and a lot of my talks in the past few years and moving forward about Frank, Jamie, and Sam. I can tell you that, and these guys know I say it a lot. Some of the guys now, they know who they are just because of that. They don't know who they are other than coming to alumni games, but they hear their names a lot about being compared to and being good leaders and being good people and being good students and all that. So obviously they get all their things because of what they do on the field, but a lot better people than they were players, I can tell you that.
Well, this is a question for both Jamie and Frank. Jamie, I'll ask you first. How close do you remain with the program since your playing days at Wilmington ended? Do you get to make it back to many games? You just follow online? How do you stay involved with the program and watching them continue to do some great things?
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, it's tough right now with work. I mean, some of the most of their games at home are starting 3:30 or so. So any chance I can get, they run out there. But yeah, I was following every single game online and trying to sneak a live feed at work every once in a while. And I know definitely one of the big things with our alumni is obviously our alumni game that we have every year in the fall, and that's become like a thing in itself that I think over the past 4 or 5 years, it's like, I mean, you get guys back from the 90s that are coming out and playing. It's great just to see. I won't throw, but it's always nice just seeing everyone else playing and just getting that look in their eye. And it's fun, like seeing a little competitiveness come out. It's like, man, they're still hungry for it, and we want to, as bad as it sounds, we want to bury the current team.
And Frank, how much do you get to follow the program? And, I guess, as Coach was saying, there's group chats and texting going on. Just how close are you able to stay with some of your former teammates?
Yeah, I mean, it's really a brotherhood. And, I think every team can say it, but, the group of guys that we had, in my 4 and 5 years they're my best friends to this day. I don't think there's a day that goes by that we don't text.
Coach, when you hear these guys saying they're teammates, former teammates are their best friends, and going to weddings and staying in group chats, that is that the best takeaway from it all? I mean, yes, you got the championships and you've got those memories, but I got to imagine it's pretty special when you see these guys, and as Frank said, kind of a brotherhood that everybody stays close, and it's really become an extended family, hasn't it?
Well, I mean, I'll hit on the alumni game first. For the fall, we play some junior colleges here and there, but that alumni game is very, very, very competitive for my current team. A lot of them are looking over there going, what the heck are they doing? But I said, guys, this dude is tough as nails. When he gets in that box, he is going to be locked in. When he takes that mound, he's going to be locked in, and it's awesome. We, I think, we either tied the last two and lost one and won one.
I don't know. I think we win every time, but
no way. You think you do?
The games just drag a little too
3-1 at least.
But it's crazy on how they come back. They can't wait, and it's one of my favorite days. But we do talk about your experience being a college baseball player and a college athlete and coming to Wilmington and all that kind of stuff. I was fortunate enough to get invited to some of these weddings. Frank's for one. Jamie's is coming up here, I think, this fall or winter or what?
December, yeah.
December. So, I've been to some other ones in the past, but I just remember at Frank's, I mean, the guys are, you look around, and Wilmington baseball is what brought these guys together. So a lot of the parents and a lot of the guys are like, Coach, we just want to thank you. This is how, this guy from North Jersey, from Delaware, from Pennsylvania, from Maryland. And, I step back and I tell my wife, I'm like, it's amazing the talent level that was at that wedding today. It's unbelievable. And they love each other, and it's just one big family. I mean, that's what our program's all about. And, that's what we tell recruits these days. And there wasn't a better family. My wife still talks about it. Their parents, which was considered the Woo Crew, is got to be one of the tightest groups of parents that we've ever had. And, it's crazy because these current student athletes' families are trying to live up to that. It's hard. It's hard to live up to that as a family, and it's hard to live up to these guys, on and off the field. But they set a high standard, and it's our goal to try to get to that, hopefully here in the near future.
Well, Coach, Jamie, Frank, and unfortunately Sam had to leave us. Thank you very much for the time. We really enjoyed revisiting and looking back at some terrific memories for the program and in conference history. So we hope that you guys stay safe during this, and your family stay safe as well. Take care, and coming up next year on the CACC Network, highlights from the CACC Championship Final that come from behind win over Chestnut Hill. We're also going to have highlights from the NCAA East Region Tournament. All that straight ahead here on CACC Championship Retrospective on the CACC Network.
Gambone, the lefty, slide step, 2-1, driven to left. It's going to get past Goines and left, one hop the fence, and they're going to wave him home. Adorno has time, skips it into Lopes, and he's sitting there waiting for the runner. And a great relay, Goines, Adorno, to Lopes at home, and they catch the runner out at home. Today, Chestnut Hill needs to win 2 against the Wildcats to claim the 2015 CACC Tournament Championship. Wildcat lineup: Frank Samluk, John Castro, Josh Swarchek. And Swarchek starts the game off with a single in the left, just like yesterday. And he's rounding second, and he's going to hold at second. And now Castro bunting, and he lays down a perfect one down the third base side, give him a bunt base hit. And Swarchek moves, and Samluk moves up to third. He can see his way out of the inning. The 0-2, nubbed up the first base line. Samluk comes home. And the pitcher tags Goines out, as that was off the end of the bat and moving all over the place, but give him an RBI on the... And has the count full with the bases loaded. The runners will be off and running again. Going to left towards the line. Goines comes on, dives, hits the line, and it's a fair ball. All 3 runs are going to come down and score. No man's land for Adorno and Goines out there on left, and it just found the line and dropped. John Castro to lead off the bottom of the third for the Wildcats, and his first pitch swinging goes to the gap in right center on a line, and it's a sliding double for John Castro, the designated hitter. High fly ball. He came in hitting .336 on the year, and he drives this one to the left center. Back on it is the center fielder. Can't catch it. It's a one hop off the fence. Lopes trots into second with a stand-up double. Could have thought McLaughlin, he had a beat on it. The 0-2 from Gore. Lifted to center. Feeney on his horse. Gets behind it. And a run is going to score on the sac fly. Both runners advance. The 3-2. Inside, too far inside. For a walk, Swarchek aboard. 2 outs in the inning. Swarchek on now. Chestnut Hill on top. We're in the bottom of the 5th. Chestnut Hill needs to win 2 today. And this is fisted into center. It's going to drop in front of McLaughlin. That was off the handle for Goines, but a single. 3-1, good hitting count here for Lopes, with runners on first and second. Swung on, taking the left. That's going to get down. Swarchek going to come around and score. Goines going to third. Lopes holds. And actually Goines comes home as the ball was bobbled on the cutoff. Good read from Goines. Unknown starts off the bottom of the 6th with a single through the right side. As Manzella tries to work through the bottom of the 6th, 2 outs, runner on third. Samluk likes to go after pitches early in the count. See if he's swinging first pitch. Swung on, taking the left, and that's going to get down. And good cutoff there from the left fielder Monahan, but Samluk slides in with a double. And it's an RBI double as Unknown comes home for the 7-5 deficit now. Brings up Sam Goines. Singled his last time up. takes this one up the middle. One hop into the outfield. Nothing Kohler could do about that one, as that one was roped up the middle. One out and a runner on for Matt Lopes. Gets his sign, comes set. First and third. Swung on, taken to right, and it gets down. Lopes unable to go first to third, however, but it's first and second, and a big hit from an own to score Goines. Lopes with Goines on first. Goines' run really means nothing, but just to extend the inning. No outs here in the bottom of the ninth. Griffins lead 9-6. Lopes up. Pitch down and away for a ball. He singled in the seventh. His last at bat, he's actually 3 for 4. Flew out to center, doubled, singled, 2 RBI. 1-0 to Lopes. Swung on and missed on the outer half. Christian Adorno on deck. Rhea from the stretch. Curveball up high, ball 2. Two one from Rhea now. High and outside, ball 3. Behind Lopes, 3 balls and a strike after just walking Goines on 5 pitches. Bullpen empty for the Griffins. It's all Rhea. 3-1. Swung on, taken to left. That's going to find some green. Goines goes to third. It gets bobbled. And Goines is going to be waved around. No throw home. He's going to score. And that's the first run. It's now 9-7 for the Wildcats. And Brendan Fowler's going to be the pinch runner. He bobbled it, but exactly. Fowler's pinch running. Brendan Fowler's the pinch runner at second after the RBI double from Lopes. He's having an afternoon for sure. Tying run is now Christian Adorno. Christian Adorno, the shortstop, sophomore shortstop for the Wildcats, first team all-conference performer. Fowler's at second. His run still doesn't mean anything. It's Adorno's run that is going to mean something if they get to that point. Still nobody out here, runner on second. 1 run in. It's 9-7 now for the Griffins on top. And Rhea on the mound. He struggled. Got behind both of the runners, or both of the batters so far in this 9th inning. Gets ahead of Adorno there, however, as he fouls it off at the plate. And now we have a balk called on Rhea. I didn't see what was happening. He must have flinched and then came up. He flinched, I guess, coming up on the rubber. I'm not sure. I wasn't really watching, but no balls and a strike. Fowler's at third now. Ball in the dirt, down and away. 1 ball and 1 strike to Adorno. CACC Baseball Tournament Championship. Chestnut Hill scored 2 in the top of the 9th to give themselves some distance, but now the Wildcats are threatening. 9-7, no outs. Make it 9-8 as the wild pitch. Brendan Fowler's comes home for the second run of the inning. The only thing that kind of really does is it clears the bases. It clears the bases for the Wildcats. They have to start all over with nobody out here in the bottom of the ninth. Fowler's scored on the wild pitch, and now Christian Adorno to reset the inning. Down a run, bases empty, nobody out. The count, 2 balls and 1 strike to Adorno. Ball up and in, ball 3. 3 straight 3-1 counts from Rhea. Not used to coming out of the pen. Just threw a lot on Thursday, so maybe that has something to do with it. 3-1, driven to left. It's going to get over the left fielder off the fence. Adorno, standing double for the Wildcats. Not yet. The 1-2 to Anone. Swung on. Foul tipped. Oh, no, it wasn't foul tipped. It was swung on and missed. Anone's going to go to third as it got past the catcher. I could have sworn I heard a foul tip, but maybe that was just off of the, maybe it was off of the leg pad of the catcher or something. The 2-2. Swung on, popped. It might fall as the shortstop got turned around, and it does fall, and the tying run comes home for the Wildcats. Just a little bloop single there for Manfrey, and we have a tie ball game. What a good one we have here at Wilson Field in the first game of Championship Saturday. First of maybe 2. The if necessary game if Chestnut Hill wins. We're in the bottom of the 11th as the Wildcats have fought back to tie this game after being down 6-1 after the top of the third. They've slowly got back into the game with chipping away with a run here, 2 runs there. Chestnut Hill scored 2 in the top of the 9th to take a 9-6 lead. But the Wildcats came back and tied the game 9-9 on 3 runs in the bottom of the 9th, and now first and third, bottom 11. Manfrey takes one to right. It's going to be deep enough to score, and it's going to be a sac fly. And Wildcats take the CACC Championship on a sac fly from Torrey Manfrey. Not quite sure what the runner was doing at first. Well, no, it was a hit and run. It was a hit and run. Wait a minute. What's going on here? An appeal at second base. An appeal at second base. An appeal at second base. And the runner was off and running. I'm not sure if he went back and touched second as he went back around second. Smart play by Chestnut Hill to keep it alive, and they held onto the ball and went and tagged second base as the Wildcats were celebrating. Brian August trying to figure it out now at second. Brian August still out there. So what's going on here is Torrey Manfrey hit a sac fly to left. The runner came home to score. Mike Anone was off and running on the pitch. So he was hustling back to get back to first base. And they're saying that he's saying that he rounded second, and to get back, in order to get back and tag up safely at first, he didn't go back around second base and tag second before getting to first base. That was the second baseman. Chopper back to the mound. Tyler Freeze over to first as we resume play here at Wilson Field, top of the 12th. 1 out here. Tyler Freeze still pitching. 1-2 pitch, swung on, skied to the right side. Manfrey comes on, Swarchek calls him off Shades down, makes the catch. For the second out of the inning, that was Brendan Luby, and now it brings up the shortstop, Kohler. Three-man umpire crew for playoffs, and that's the one time that's going to get caught, honestly. This one taking the left, Goines back a few steps, heel of the warning track, and makes the catch. And the Wildcats are out of the top of the 12th. We go to the bottom of the 12th. Let's see if that one can be the final inning for the Wildcats. It's 9-9 after top of the 12th. And the 3-0 to Goines. In the dirt, didn't give him a pitch to hit. And it brings up Tommy Freeland, the catcher, who replaced Matt Lopes.
Now up the catcher, number 27, Tom Freeland.
Brings up the catcher, the replacement catcher, Tom Freeland, looking for his first career base hit. Or first career RBI. Or anything of the like. He hasn't seen a whole lot of time, but came in today in replace of Lopes, and that pitch is down in the dirt. And he gunned a player out at second base, ending the 10th, or I think it was the 10th inning, on the stolen base. Gunned, with plenty of time too, to get the runner, the would-be base stealer. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Tommy Freeland at the plate. Monahan pitching. 9-9, bottom 12. Swung on, taken to right, and that's going to get down. And the throw to first, not in time. And that is it. Tom Freeland, his first career base hit, ends up being the CACC Tournament Championship base hit for the Wildcats. Dog pile 2.0. Hope no one gets hurt over there in the dog pile. Bases loaded. Single for Tom Freeland. Wilmington wins 10-9. Your 2015 CACC Tournament champion. Wilmington University Wildcats, the regular season champion and the tournament champion. Tom Freeland, the winner, with the walk-off hit for the Wildcats.
I mean, it's a credit to our seniors. I mean, most of these guys, we have 3 5-year seniors, and we got, 10 4-year seniors, and you guys all been in the regionals every year they've been here. So they got a lot of experience. They weren't scared of Franklin Pierce. They weren't, and they just battled.